Hi everyone, Chef Ron here, and we are just about ready to start this week's episode of the Chef Ron Live Show. But before we do that, I just wanted to let you know that we have special guest Chuck, who's going to be coming on, and he's going to go ahead and let you know what we're going to be making for you today, and also what's going into that recipe as well by presenting the ingredients. Now I hope we can present to you also our 3 E's that we always like to do with every episode. That's a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of education, and a little bit of enlightenment. So let's go ahead and start heating up this kitchen with the Chef Ron Live Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chuck W. Egan.
Well, hey y'all! I'm back! It's your buddy Chuck. It's your buddy Chuck. For all of you out there, thank you. Thanks. For all of you out there who don't know who I am, my name is Chuck. Now, I did a cooking show for a couple of years up until about June of 2013. It was about a cooking cowboy. And so I am semi-retired right now. I've taken a little bit of a break from the whole chuck wagon ordeal of the cowboy cooking that I was doing. And I am living out now in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I got me a piece of land out there, and I'm just kind of kicking back and enjoying life. I love it out there. I certainly have no complaints, and it's been kind of nice taking a break from all of this great cooking experience that I've had doing the show and meeting all you fine people and everything else. But here I am. Chef Ron coaxed me back in front of the camera again, so I'm right here. And we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of an introduction for you today of what we're making. Today, Chef Ron's going to prepare for you his famous no-peak chicken. And let me tell you what, that was actually my very first recipe that I did on my show back in 2011. So that's how far I go back on that. And it's a fantastic recipe. Y'all are going to love this. Y'all are going to want to go ahead and try this as soon as you see this. It's very easy. We're keeping it short and simple, as Chef Ron would say, and making it very economical for you as well. Alright, well, since it's no peak chicken, obviously there's chicken in it, right? So I guess I should probably transfer over to our ingredient roundup over here and tell you a little bit about what's going in our no peak chicken for this episode of the Chef Ron Live Show. Alright, so first of all, we got here three boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Now these boneless, skinless chicken breasts are probably, I'd say they're probably about 2 pounds each or so. So you want to use about 3 of those if you're going to be serving a couple people. We're going to be putting this in a 9x13 casserole dish, so you could probably fit 5 or 6 of these breasts in there, depending on the size of the company you're going to be feeding, alright? But you want to make sure that you wash these chicken breasts off and you pat dry them before you use them, alright? Just because you never know what's on them. I know there's a controversy about all that, and Chef Ron will tell you a little bit more about that too, but I know from my experience that I would rather be safe than sorry. Alright, so, three boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Alright, then we got here, we've got a 10 3/4 cup, I believe it's 10 3/4 cup, or a can of cream of mushroom sauce. It's been a while since I've done this. We've got here 10 3/4 of a can of cream of celery soup. Alright, so we got cream of mushroom soup, cream of celery soup, 10 3/4 cans of each of those. Alright, you with me so far there? Alright. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Alright, next here we've got 2½ cups of milk. I use whole milk in mine. Now you can, cut the fat and go down to 2%, 1%, or skim however you want to go. You go more than that, you're going to do water. And I've even made this with water myself. It just don't taste the same. You got to use milk for this to some degree. Alright, that's 2½ cups of that, by the way. Alright, we're going to go ahead and there use a 1¼ cup of rice. Alright, long grain rice is what Chef Ron uses in his recipe. It's what I've used in mine as well, because I've used his recipe, quite frankly. And so that's a 1¼ cup of long grain rice. Alright, and lastly, you're going to get yourself 1 packet of onion soup mix. You get 2 in a box at the grocery store. So you just get yourself 1 of those packs. What I do is just pound it down, and then it gets all of the onion, dried onion, all powdery with the other powdery goodness that's in there. Alright, so that's really it. See how simple that's all going to be? Now, that's pretty much all I got to say. I just came on real quick to get on here and say hello to everybody. It's been a while, like I said, since I've been in front of cameras again. And although, I don't know, after being in front of these cameras and seeing you nice people out there, I might consider maybe making a comeback at some point. I think you'll probably see me here on the Chef Ron Locke Show every so often when I get time and I'm down here in South Florida checking on my properties and such. I'll probably sneak in and maybe do a show, give the other cast members a little bit of a break. I know they appreciate that as well. So anyway, alright, well, it's time for me to mosey on back to New Mexico. So, in the meantime, I'm going to say, y'all, it's great seeing you again. I'll see you soon. And I'm telling you what, stick around because Chef Ron's going to show you how to put this all together and make this a yippee-yi good meal for you, alright? So, we'll see y'all later. Bye!
On the next episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show.
And then we have Andrew. Andrew is interesting. Andrew is a lawyer. He is a constable lawyer, and he loves law like you wouldn't believe. I mean, to the extreme. I mean, oh my God, he will tell you anything about law. If you love law, you could engage in a wonderful conversation with Andrew. If you don't like law, you'll be like, or you'll be like, where's my martini? It's just, you need 5 martinis to even deal with him. He's so boring. Hey, do some aerobic music with it, shake it up a little bit. In fact, Maestro, please. I'm getting a look over to the side from the producer. Well, hi everyone. How's everyone doing out there today? All right. So glad to hear it. So glad that you are here and watching the Chef Ron Locke Show. We have a great episode for you. You saw Chuck introduce our recipe, which is going to be our no-peak chicken, and the ingredients that are going into our no-peak chicken. I'll tell you what, that guy has been around. That guy's done a cooking show here or two, and he's certainly had his share of cooking show experiences and culinary experiences. So my hat's off to the Chuck man there. He's certainly been a great inspiration for me throughout all the years. I'll tell you that for sure. So anyway, all right. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started here now. What am I doing here? If you've watched this show enough, you know exactly when I do this what that means, right? Clean hands, right? Alright, so what do I always say? I always say make sure you clean your hands, make sure your environment's nice and clean because we don't want to cross-contaminate with any germs. Makes sense, right? All right, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to roll up our sleeves here because we've got a yippee-yi good show for you today. That's what Chuck would say. So let's get started here. Now, we're going to be doing for you here a very classic, simple, what I call no-peak chicken. And it just involves a few ingredients, as you've seen. And it's very short and simple. It's very easy. It also is very economical. This meal with the chicken, if you can get the chicken on sale and some of these other ingredients, probably cost you anywhere between maybe $10 and $15 for a meal of 4 to 6. Now we're going to be doing 3 chicken breasts today, but you, in a 9 by 13 inch casserole dish like I've got here, you can probably put in around 5, maybe squeeze 6 in if you're really good and tighten them in. But we're going to do 3 for you today, and let's get started, all right? All right, so right here, I've got my 9 by 13 casserole dish. And we're going to go ahead and just start by adding in our soups. Now, you can use spatula. I just use a tablespoon here. And we're just going to go ahead and throw our soups, first of all, into our casserole dish like that. Now, I like to put one of the soups, this being the cream of mushroom, on one side and the cream of celery soup on the other side here. Just like so. Make sure you get as much as you can. There we go. Now you probably at home will not be using glass containers like we use here on the show because, you know, I like to have a little bit nicer presentation for y'all when I'm showing you my stuff here. You know, you'll probably just be taking it out of a can, most likely. Now, if you are looking for some sodium-free or sodium-reduced sodium alternatives, they make the soups for that as well, and you can also get a low or no fat soup, so you can reduce the calories and the sodium by using those alternatives as well. We're not doing that today, but again, just putting it out for you there, that's something you can choose as well. And I'll point some of these other things out as we go along, because there's even more ways as we go through here that we can go ahead and reduce a little bit of fat as well. So alright, so we've got our 2 soups in there now. What I want to go ahead and do next of all, as I've got my rice here, we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle the rice on tops of the soups here, just like that. See how simple this is? Guys, men out there, you can do this. This is something you can do and impress your significant others out there. Trust me, this is easy, all right? All right, so next what we're going to do, I've got my milk, and I'm going to just go ahead and pour this milk over the entire soups here like you're seeing, just like that. Looks like a flood, right? Looks like the flood I had here in the beginning of January. We had some pretty torrential rains. My house actually got a little flooded out. We had 22 inches of rain within a 12-hour period, almost 2 inches an hour. I'm telling you, it was some pretty serious stuff. You know, I was waiting for Noah to start bringing the animals 2 by 2 out and bringing us out there with him. It was getting pretty bad. So anyway, but that's what we got here. All right, so next... What was that? I've got here? Oh, here. Here? Is that better? Are you sure? I want to make sure that we do this. I want to make sure that I've got this perfect here when I'm going on. I don't want to interrupt you there. Okay. In case you didn't hear, there's a woman sitting out here in the audience. She's laughing, and it distracted me while I was just talking about the flood thing here. And I looked down, and she's pointing, and I'm like, that's why I said, I'm like, well, what is it? And she's pointing to her chin. Apparently I had something on my chin, so she just wanted to make sure that I was looking good for the show, apparently. So I thank you, by the way. Thank you very much. You never know what's going to happen here on the Chef Ron Locke Show. All right, so let's get back to our no-peak chicken, shall we? Okay, all right, so what I like to do at this point, I take a fork, just a regular table fork, and I'm going to do what I call troweling, because I want to mix these soups together and I want to get the rice and the milk all together. And really the best way of doing it is to get something where some of that can pass through, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing right here. I'm just going to go here, if you see, just from side to side and back and forth, just like that. We're breaking up the soups is what we're doing, and we're getting them all mixed up, okay? This is another reason why I wanted to go ahead and put the soups on separate sides, because it makes it easier for this fork to go through and mix everything together. See, you don't need to have fancy stuff. to get some really good results here, okay? And that's what we're doing here on the show, showing you some really short and simple ways to create these great effects like I'm doing here. There we go. It's nice and mixed up now. Just like that. Easy, see? Alright, now, what do we got left? We got chicken, and chicken means washing the hands one more time because I'm going to be playing in that chicken. So, let me go ahead and get these nice and clean here. Now, you can also use your kitchen latex gloves if you'd like. I know a lot of people like to do that. I'm from the old school. Like if you've watched the show a few times, you know I just love getting my hands into the food. I'm kind of that earthy type of purist person that I just like doing that. So, you know, if it's not squeamish for you to go and play in your food a little bit, then, you know, wash your hands. They're nice and clean. You're all good to go. Otherwise, stick them latex gloves on and you're as equally good to go. So let's go ahead. We're going to add in our chicken breast now. Let me bring the plate over here. Now, with the chicken breast, make sure that you lightly wash those off, and then that you just pat dry them before you go ahead and put them in here, okay? Alright, now we're just going to lay these in, just like so, real simple. These are nice plump chicken breasts. They're probably about 1.5 to 2 pounds each, okay? Just like that. Set that in like there. There we go. And you want to get them, you see how they're sort of kind of submerged about maybe half to 3/4 of the way. Let me get my hands washed here again. That's what you want. You want that submersion to be like that, because what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead now and add my favorite thing on top of these chicken breasts, which is the onion soup mix. All right, let's go ahead and move this plate over here. Now, I've got my onion soup mix right here. You can do it either way. You can either take your hands and sprinkle it on, or you can just take the jar and sprinkle it on. Now, like I said, at home, you're probably not going to put it in a jar. You're probably just going to take the package and then just sprinkle it on. Now, one tip I want to give y'all before you do that. I want you to take a rolling pin or a tenderizer mallet, the smooth side, and just kind of smush out the mix, because the mix, if you open it up, will have the onion, the dried onions, and then the powder. Well, we don't want that kind of a contrast. We want to mix that in a little bit more, get the dried onions a little more powdery in with the onion powder itself. So that's what we did here. So you just pound that out a little bit, 15-20 seconds, you'll be good to go. Maybe put a towel underneath that just to make sure. You might get a little bit of powder that will emit from it, because the onion pieces are a little sharp and sometimes they do poke through a little bit, but that's it. Other than that, then you end up with something like this. I'm going to take my hands and just, first of all, sprinkle it on top of each of the chicken breasts, because I want my chicken breast tops coated with this. This makes a very nice tasting topping for these breasts here. All right. Now I've got 3 breasts here. Like I said, you can add up to probably 6 in a 9x13 casserole dish like I've got. Okay. But, you know, just kind of eye it. You obviously want to have enough for at least the top. Now what I do is I'll just go ahead and sprinkle it in with the rest here, just like so. You see how we're doing that? You want to just get a good representation over everything. All right. Just like that. You see how that goes? Okay. Just like that. Just make sure you get all the areas where the milk is with a little bit of this onion goodness that we've got going on here. Oh yeah. This is good. And then I can just do this as well. Like that. Okay. Look how easy that is. I gotta wash these hands, man. I'm telling you, I wash my hands more probably than a dentist or a doctor does. I tell you. I do so much with them. And I love it. I love it. I mean, you just get more precision that way than if you use a tool or something sometimes. It's just easier to place it where you want it, right? Okay. You know what I'm talking about. The ones that use your hands a lot, you know what I'm talking about, right? Alright, so that's it. That's what we've got here. Now, what we want to do, if you haven't already done this, preheat your oven to 365 degrees. I know that 365 sounds like a weird temperature, because usually it's in increments of 25, 300, 325, 350, 375, and so on. The 365, for some reason, just seems to really work with this recipe. I've used 375 and it dries the chicken out a little bit. If I do it at 350, for some reason, the rice just doesn't seem to want to completely cook. So trust me, 365. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get I got a piece of aluminum foil here. And now you just want to seal this up. You know, line it up. This is real simple. Just like this. Alright. Try not to, I'm going to turn this around a little bit. That. There we go. Try not to move this around too much or shake it around too much, because you want to keep all that nice onion flavor on top of your breast. And also, you don't want this sloshing around before you get this in our oven. Okay? Alright. There we go. Just like that. Alright. Just like that. There we are. Now, what we're going to do, let's go ahead. We're just going to put this in our oven. I'm going to turn my back on y'all for just a second. Don't do anything funny back there now. Alright. It's as easy as that. You see how short and simple that all is. That took maybe 10-15 minutes to do. You know, like I said, you're not going to be probably putting all these ingredients in jars and stuff, so the prep work is real simple. It's 1, 2, 3 and you're ready to go. You get home after a hard day's work, you can slap this together in, like I say, 15 minutes or so. Now we're going to cook this at 365 for 1 hour and 15 minutes. At the end of the hour and 15 minutes, I want you to shut your oven off, but leave it in the oven for another 15 minutes. And then at the hour and 30-minute point, you can go ahead and pull that out, and then just leave it covered for about another 15 minutes as it sets, all right? Now, the reason, and I'm sure people are wondering, why do you call it no-peak chicken? Well, what it really is doing is it's steaming everything in there, the rice, the chicken, everything. If you go in and for some strange reason want to pop open the aluminum foil to check on it, which I really don't know why you'd want to, but hey, you know what? Where there's a will, there's a way, right? If you do that, you're going to upset the osmosis of the steaming process, and it will upset the whole cooking method as far as how that steams in the end, especially in the rice category. So anyway, there you go. It's as simple as that. All right, you know what? We're going to take a break now while this is cooking up. Let's go ahead to mailbag. Let's see who our viewer is this week, what question they have, and which one of our cast, myself or any of the other 4 cast members, let's see which one of them their question is directed to for this episode. All right, so let's go to mailbag.
Mailbag.
Welcome to another edition of Mailbag. On this week's Mailbag, this question comes to yours truly, Chef Ron Locke. Now this question comes from Adam L., and Adam lives in Boise, Idaho. Now Adam asked, Chef Ron, I love your show and I love the characters that you do. Which one is your personal favorite? You know, that's a great question, Adam. That's like picking a child. You know, you just don't do that. You know, you love all your children. And these characters are kind of like my little children, I guess you could say. If I didn't like one of them, I wouldn't be doing it. And it's probably as easy as that to explain. I get that asked a lot. I love each one for their different components. You know, Grandma Flo, the character, I like the tenacity and the sassiness of her. The over-the-top almost of her. Lillian, she's just a party girl, you know. She's the martini drinking, dirty sailor talking party girl that just has tons of money and floats around the universe. And and that's that free spirit that a lot of people either have or wish they could have. Then you've also got Christopher Cubb, our gay event planner, who, you know, pretty much is sort of just kind of self-imposed into himself. He's pretty egotistical and pretty wrapped up into his own world, his own life, and you know, he cares about people, but he's really all about himself in the end, you know. And I mean, in the end, when push comes to shove, a lot of people end up, you know, like that. You know, when you dig through the layers, he's one of those kind of characters that some people can relate to as well, in a small way. You know, I'm doing these over the top for everybody a little bit to, you know, get the theatrics going for them, to make them shine a little bit more. And then lastly, you got Smokey, Harley Davidson, who just is that laid back, middle of the road, you know, God-fearing, Christian-loving biker, bad biker gone good, somebody that could just completely change their life and make a difference, and the events that happen in their life create that difference as well. And I think that's the best that we hope to have with everybody that we encounter, is that, you know, especially the people that for some reason or another took a wrong path down the road, we kind of root them on and hope that they'll change. And he's kind of that example that does that. And of course then Chuck, I bring him on every once in a while too, and you know, that was one of my characters that I did with the Chuck Wagon Cowboy show a couple of years ago when I first started my cooking show. So, you know, he's in for the nostalgia part. So every one of them I love. I love them for different reasons in different ways. And so I guess that's a little bit of a background of each of the characters and how I relate to them when I'm presenting them. And I'm kind of hoping that people kind of see that as well. And I think that everybody can see a little bit of each of the characters in them too. Like I say, the characters are just a little bit more over the top than I think most people are. But there's a few of them out there that are just like that, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Anyway, that I hope answers your question. I love them all. I love them all. It'd be hard to get rid of one at this point. So anyway, that's it. Adam, thank you so much for your great question. If you have a question that you'd like to ask myself or one of our cast members, feel free to write in at crl@chefronlock.com. Once again, that's crl@chefronlock.com. And if you are one of the lucky ones that gets your question pulled, we will read that here on a future segment of Mailbag. All right, so that's it. All right, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and get back to the Chef Ron Lock Show. All right, we're back. Now, you just saw how wonderful our no-peak chicken turned out. It had a nice golden brown on top of each of the chicken breasts, and that rice had fluffed up nice, and that soup mix just kind of made it all nice and creamy. It looks wonderful. I can't wait to try this out. This is going to be great. So let's go ahead and show you our presentation plate. Right here, you can see we've served this on a bed of rice, the chicken rice that we've got here that was made with our no-peak chicken breast itself. So you've got the chicken breast with this nice onion coating on top and this wonderful rice with those soup mixtures and the milk. Fantastic. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a little taste of this and just give it the old hee-ho try here, as Chuck would probably say, and see how this is. Alright, so let's go ahead and check this out right now. Let's see, I'm going to use both a knife and fork. I can probably cut this with a fork, but let's just make sure. There we go. Alright, just like that. Put that off to the side. Let me get my napkin here so I don't spill anything. That is some wonderful chicken. I'm going to take a little bit of this rice as well. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. The flavors that hit you right off the bat are obviously the onion flavoring, and then this nice, succulent, juicy chicken breast that you have. Amazing. The rice has this wonderful flavor of the cream of celery and cream of mushroom soups. That milk added in there. The onion mixture that's been put on top of the chicken. We mix that all in, remember, with the rest of the milk and such on top. That infuse itself within the rice too. It just is a wonderfully easy, short and simple meal. Great on a budget. Wonderful for a family. And you can dictate how much you want to make based on the number of people that will be eating it, based on the number of chicken breasts you want to put in that 9x13 casserole dish. There you go. That's it. That's all that we have for on this episode of the Chef Ron Lock Show. I want to first thank again Chuck for coming in with his yippee-all good, yippee-all good episode here, and his ingredient presentation, a special guest star. We just love Chuck. I'm going to have him back on more, probably in season 2. I might try to get him back more here on the first season, but I know he's real busy with doing a lot of stuff on his own. And I really do appreciate and thank him for coming on and making a little cameo appearance for us today on this show. And I want to thank each and every one of you out there for making the Chef Ron Lock Show such a special show. It's been really, really fun making this. We're just enjoying doing this for you. Keep sending those great comments in. Keep watching. Tell your friends and family about us. We'd love to have them join in on the fun. All right, so from the Chef Ron Lock Show, Chef Ron Lock here, saying to everybody, let's keep it short and simple out there, and let's start heating up that kitchen. All right, we'll see you next time. Y'all take care.